You're welcome to Let's Talk.
So sit down and talk. We need to sit down and talk. How Nigeria should go, how we're going to do our job.
We want to stand up and say no to corruption. We're going to do our job because we're cleaning the system. You are not just doing good for yourself or for the nation alone. You also do good for the future.
Boko Haram is an attack. It's a spiritual attack. It's a satanic attack on Nigeria. We must, if we come to recognize it, we will understand then how to look for the solution.
The Sovereign National Conference, how do we want to achieve that in our present system? We need to sit down and iron out how Nigeria should be governed.
And thanks for joining us at the program Let's Talk. As you know, we get to talk about a whole range of topics, topics that are of concern in the nation, and topics also that have a global impact and international impact as well. I like to say it's great to have you on the show today. Now, today we are going to be talking sports in Nigeria. Now, looking at Nigerian sports, not much really can be said when it comes to the performance of sportsmen and women in the country. In spite of their hard work, in spite of the drive, in spite of the talent and the creativity that they have. As a matter of fact, since 1996, which many say were Nigeria's glory days as far as sports is concerned, we have watched sports continue to deteriorate, and people are asking, what is the matter? What is going on? How do we find our way back from where we are right now, back to our glory days? Now, our topic today is Nigeria in the global sports index, and we're looking at the 2012 Olympics. Now, I'm joined this morning by Victor Enyinaya, who is sports editor, National Daily Newspaper. He's also a social-political analyst. You're welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you very much, my sister.
Great. Okay, so we're talking sports in Nigeria, and you know what we have going on currently, of course, is the London 2012 Olympics, and as far as we can see, we've not really seen Nigeria when it comes to medals. Of course, you know, they are involved in certain sport there. But talking about sports generally in Nigeria, I'd like to have your views. You know, it's been far from general expectations. Now, what do you think is really the reason for this seeming poor performance by Nigerian sportsmen and women?
Yeah, the problem of Nigerian sports is not far-fetched. It started way back in the 90s when the administrators stopped looking inwards, getting sports from the grassroots, organizing competitions and school sports. So that was where we got it wrong. Nigeria, before the 90s, were everywhere. In the 1973 All-African Games, we used our local athletes, and we were there. From athletics, football, long jump, high jump,
okay,
tennis, which was long tennis, table tennis. We were there until something went wrong. This fire brigade approach, let us go and grab it, crept into Nigerian sports. And a particular administrator, which I will not mention his name, destroyed Nigerian sports. He fought everybody on site and made sure that they were bulldozed out, and that is the beginning and the genesis of what we are experiencing today in Nigerian sports. They all know about it. So anybody that has been in sports, some of us we have reported sports for some decades, yeah, at least 2 decades, and we have covered some international meets like the Olympics, the World Cup, the Commonwealth Games, the All African Games. We've seen how countries prepare. They don't just wake up overnight and grab it. London 2012 the curtain will soon drawn. The countries will start preparing for Brazil 2016. We will come back here and money.
Are you saying that a lack of preparation is partly responsible for the performance of the Nigerian team of Nigerian representatives in this London 2012 Olympics?
Yes, that is the key. That is the key element.
Okay.
After Beijing, 2008, we went to sleep. 2-3 months to the championship or to the global game, we woke up. And the waking up with fire brigade, waking up with all motion, no movement. So when you tell the administrators this, they will see you as one that is on the other side of the divide. So all boils down to preparation from the grassroots. Let us go down to the grassroots immediately after this London Olympics and get them. We are richly blessed.
Okay.
Talents abound in the grassroots, in sports, in school sports. Let us organize competitions. We should develop Nigerian youth through sports. When that is done, from the local government, the states, then the national. There were competitions like that, like what Governor Fashola is trying to do in Lagos State. I think all the governors, all the local government chairmen should let us go back to the basics if we must get it right.
Okay, well, let's take a look at training facilities. You know, you talked about the fact that there's a lack of competitions, you know, being organized on the grassroots levels and all of that. Now, training facilities and sports academies have been generally abandoned. You know, we talk of poor maintenance, virtually no funding for some of these academies and facilities. Now, do you think, first of all, what is responsible, and are there any lessons to be learned from London Olympics 2012? You know, in relation to not having facilities to train, no academies and all of that?
I wouldn't say that there are no facilities.
Okay.
At that. Look at the Abuja National Stadium. You go to that stadium remains a marvel to behold. In 2003, Koja, when that stadium was declared open, if it's in China, even Benin Republic here, all the facilities that were installed there would have been maintained. Look at the velodrome, the best in Africa. What is happening to it? Even ordinary pitch, there are facilities. There are the problem of maintenance, culture,
okay,
that has eaten deep into our fabrics. Sports is not left out. So look at the National Stadium, abandoned after Nigeria 99. Everything there has rotten away. But that stadium generates revenue that can bring it back to normalcy, that can bring back that imposing edifice, the facilities. But where are those money? It goes into the pockets of the National Sports Commission officials, Sports Ministry officials, and their cohorts. So what is happening in sports what is happening in the general, is the mirror of the general society, corruption.
Okay. Well, corruption, it's like a reflection. What's going on in sports, you're saying it's a reflection of what is happening in general society. Now, still talking about the sports administration and the fact that we see corruption go on there. Now, do you think there's any difference from what it used to be like a few years ago Is it the same? Is it business as usual? Do we have another set of administrators now that are trying to improve, or is it still the same thing, or are they worse than, you know, the people that were there before, in your opinion?
They are worst.
Oh.
As I told you, when God bless his soul, Alhaji Rahim Adejimo was the president of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Oh, those were the glorious days of Nigerian sports. NOC, that Nigeria Olympic Committee, was non-political because Adejimo will stand his feet and tell you that this is how it should be, even against all odds of a certain very powerful sports administrator that bestowed our land like a colossus. Let Adejimo stood his ground. Let Adewumi, that was the sole administrator of National Sports Commission, they stood their ground. We did well in Canada, 95. I was there. We did well. That was our best haul in Commonwealth Games. Atlanta, 1996. We did well. Chioma Jumopara, that lapped us to gold medal, was an individual effort. Shegu Odegbami, MON, took Chioma, trained Chioma, nurtured Chioma, and we saw what Chioma did. The Kano Wankwo Dream Team was a rub-off of what Westerhoff did.
Yes.
So after that, and two, remember, Chief Jim Wobodo was the sports minister. The late Emeko Merwa, God bless his soul also, was the chairman of the Nigeria Football Association. Fine gentlemen, fine professionals. They give you what you want. We started preparations in time.
Okay.
And we saw what happened. Our best Olympics so far. Mary Onyali Omagwemi, Falila Togunkoya, then Ocheko, Omoto Shona. They were all there. You can pinpoint where our strength lies. Even in Africa now, it's difficult for Nigeria to do well in athletics. It's terrible. It's terrible. The present-day administrators now are terrible. And the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, announced the obituary of sports in Nigeria by going to get all manners of sports ministers, saying his own there's sports ministry to the north and this and that. And the trend has continued.
Okay.
So everybody, everyone, they come to mess up sports and they will go. Look at the present sports minister.
Okay.
Bolaji Abdullahi. Where is he coming from? You're a journalist. Bolaji does not know, he knows next to nothing in sports. He didn't write a line when he reported, all he says as a journalist. Just because he's a PDP member, then he was brought into sports.
So you're saying it's politicized.
So from Aten, President Jonathan confirmed Bolaji. There are so many people, technocrats, that can harness this thing, harness our sports. Our sports is dead. Right. So why it's reflecting in football is because everybody football.
Football, yes.
Sports generally is dead.
Okay, well, if you're just joining, we are looking at Nigeria in the Global Sports Index, and we are referring to the 2012 Olympics. Well, yes, that we have in view, talking about the performance of Nigeria in sports generally. Now, let's talk about the sportsmen and women themselves. What have been some of the, we've talked about the corruption that is within the administration of sports. Now, talking about our sportsmen and women who very obviously are passionate about their sport. You know, you talked about some of them who by their own individual effort were able to win for Nigeria, you know, medals and accolades and all of that. What are some of the challenges that they have? would you say that individual effort would be enough for them to be able to make it in sports? Really, let's try and identify the major challenges that these sportsmen and women have.
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. A lot of them.
Okay.
These patriots, I repeat, these patriots have done a lot. Individual efforts have seen us thus far. But what have the administrators done to encourage these people? They go as far as shortchanging them. There is no training grant.
Okay.
There is no scholarship for these athletes. Some of these athletes train under empty stomach. But these administrators are feeding fat on them. You got to see most of these our athletes at the National Stadium. You weep. Be them as internationals, be them national champions, and the rest. They are denied so many things. No grants. Some of them that made it got scholarships in the U.S. University.
Okay.
Even Blessing Okabari and the likes. Because they don't look at you here. Patrick Ekeji, that is supposed to be, that is the Director General of the National Function, will look down on you. You talk to him, he say he was ex-international. And he knew, he's supposed to know where the bucket is leaking. The athletes are not being catered for in Nigeria. The administrators, they feed fat on them. Then that is why Nigerian athletes, they don't have a say, because they go for the crumbs because of the poverty in the land. So the little they are doing is their personal efforts. Okay. There has to be encouragement.
There has to be encouragement for our sportsmen and women. Now, of course, that could be one of the reasons why a lot of them leave the country, you know, to seek greener pastures in other countries where they're going to be, you know, they're going to be appreciated more. Now, do you think that at the moment there is any sort of reculturing that is going on to make them stay and help transform the sports sector? And also, do you think that there are any signs at all of revamping the sports sector? Any efforts that are ongoing at the moment that are geared towards revamping sports in Nigeria?
Let me start from the last.
Okay.
There is no effort whatsoever. It has been the old wine in the new bottles. They kept recycling these people. The way out is to bring our ex-internationals, be them in football, be them in athletics, be them in table tennis, be them in lawn tennis, which is tennis now, be them in weightlifting. Let them be in charge of our sports. There's no perfection in human endeavor. But these people that have seen it all, let them come in and do it. Look at what Stephen Keshi is doing in the Super Eagles. It's, so many people, he has gotten so many knocks. But those of us that have been in sports beat for over 2 decades, we know what he's doing. He's on the right track. This was how Westerhoff started, and it was from Westerhoff that our players saw the light and traveled out. Okay. And we reaped it. Yeah. So Keshi is doing very, very well. We should put Mary Onyal is there, Falila Togunkonye is there, Chomo Ojinwo Para is there. There are so many of our ex-internationals that have seen it all. Let them take charge of our sports. But the Nigerian society can never allow them. If you are not a party man, you cannot get anything. You can't get anything. I put a call to a friend in Anambra State. He told me, are you a member of ABGA? I was stumped, and I switched off my phone. So it is what is happening everywhere. There is no concrete moves. Moreover, the focus of Mr. President is on security.
At the moment.
There is nothing that occupies him now than the insecurity in the land. So the Buffons, in sports, are having field day. So much is going down the drains in London. You saw them fighting over allowances, $100 to athletes.
Yeah.
What you know, the administrators are there with their girlfriends, with their everything, useless in Nigerian money. I've been in competitions. I know what I am saying. It's really something to cry for.
All right, we need to wrap it up right now. So I really want you, in a few sentences, what are your prescriptions? What is the way forward? How do we turn this thing around for all stakeholders concerned? Very, very briefly.
A meeting of the stakeholders, real stakeholders should meet. They should stop sitting on the fence. They should come in and grab this thing so that we will move forward. Otherwise, this all motion, no movement act will continue. It will lead us to nowhere. We will go to Brazil, we will not do anything. We'll go back, we retrace our steps to the grassroots sports. We organize competitions, school sports, secondary school, primary school. That was how we excelled before the advent of going abroad. So if we harness all these potentials, we will be able to make it in Brazil 2016. But for now, in London, our hope are not lost. We may get something from the relay team, women, because the men is very dicey. Not where a thunderbolt is on the blocks. So we should retrace our steps. Let's stakeholders, let these three stakeholders all meet and let them come out and grab their spots. It has gone down the drains.
Okay, well, we've been talking about Nigeria in the Global Sports Index, and we were looking at the 2012 Olympics, having that in view. And yes, everyone should be concerned about the way sports in Nigeria is going. And from our discussion, it is very evident that we have to renew our focus on sports, do what we have to do, have long-term preparation, support and encourage our sportsmen and women everywhere. And it's only in that way that we can begin to see the re-emergence of sports as it should be in the country. I had been talking with Victor Eyinnaya, who is the sports editor, National Daily Newspaper. He's also a socio-political analyst. Thank you very much for coming on the program today.
Thank you, my sister.
And thank you also for being part of this program. It's Let's Talk. Let's do this again, same time tomorrow on this station as well.
You're welcome to Let's Talk.
We should sit down and talk. We need to sit down and talk. How Nigeria corruption, how we're going to do our job.
We want to stand up and say no to corruption. We're going to do our job because I think the system, you are not just doing good for yourself or for the nation, you also do good for the future.
Boko Haram is an attack, it's a spiritual attack. It's a satanic attack on Nigeria. We must, if we come to recognize it, we will understand then how to look for the solution.
The Sovereign National Conference, how do we want to achieve that in our present system? We need to sit down and iron out how Nigeria should be governed